this is the season here in Vermont where if you live within earshot of a brook or river, it's loud. We had a few days of temps that got up to around 60, and I mean, tons, literally, of snow went from being frozen to their liquid form and made their ways, in streams across fields that went into brooks that went into rivers. And so yesterday when we were out along one of these brooks, I noticed the water level rising and noticed that all those things that had formed, on the rocks or along the riverbanks, all the chunks of snow and ice, bit by bit were getting sort of drawn into the river flow, making their way downstream. Diego Perez, who's the writer behind Jung Pueblo, the pen name, Jung Pueblo, writes this book Inward. And a section that I came across this morning, it said repeat daily. So I thought, it might be healthy too. This is the repeat daily. Notice the stories you hold in your mind. Let go of the ones that cause tension. Notice the stories you hold in your mind. Let go of the ones that cause tension. So maybe we could imagine that we're along a river, one of those that's quite active because it's thaw time. And as the river flows by, we notice the stories that we hold in our mind. Maybe they're stories about myself, yourself. Maybe they're stories about others. Maybe they're stories about impressions of the way we think the world is or ought to be or isn't. And as you notice the stories that make their way through your mind, some, if Jung Pueblo's right, cause tension and some don't. So we notice the stories, we watch the river flow by, and if there's stories that do indeed cause tension, and as those stories, which do, come up, we can let them be like a little chunk of ice that breaks off and makes its way flowing down the river. I mean, it'll come back another season, I'm sure. But for now, we can watch the flow of the river and allow any story that comes up about self or others to break off and make its way in that fast and cold and loud flow downstream. And then come back to focus again on the stream, listening for the stories, recognizing which ones cause tension, and letting them go. It's a part of our finding God in the times of COVID. Today's March the 13th. Blessings on your day.